Hey guys, John Bergsman here live on site at DNR Sports Center, West Main in Kalamazoo. It's fishing season, it's hunting season. You got to get down to DNR and fill up all of those empty spots in both your tackle bag and your hunting shell bag. Hey, so we got some awesome reports today. We're going to do it all in one day like we used to do, because we've been posting some written reports, and the details that people have been sending us, the guides have been sending us in the written reports are really critical, so we're going to post those every day as well. But we wanted to give you just a quick synopsis of what's going on. So we're going to touch 3 different areas today. We're going to talk about Drummond Island, Traverse City, and the Sheboygan area for smallmouth bass, walleye, and walleye. And then we're going to drop down and talk about what to do on these super windy days. Now, as everyone knows, super windy days, the Detroit River and the St. Clair River are both happening right now. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to drop down and talk about Monroe perch fishing as well as Port Clinton perch fishing. It's a Wednesday here at DNR Sports Center. Stay tuned for 3 great area reports.
Make loading and unloading your boat easy with the Dorado Catch and Release Automatic Boat Latch. Load with ease. Simply drive on the trailer and the Dorado will automatically latch to your bow eye. A hard plastic liner protects your boat. For launching, back your boat in, pull the release lever, and away you go. For roller or bunk trailers, the Dorado is quick and easy to install and works with most V-hull boats. Spend less time at the landing and more time fishing. The Dorado Catch and Release Automatic Boat Latch. Online at DoradoProducts.com.
So we're going to start out the first report here talking about what to do on windy days. Now, windy days are what's the norm and what's been happening lately here in Michigan and all around the Great Lakes. So what we really want to do is make sure that we've got outs as fishermen. In other words, places that we can go, still fish, still catch limits of fish, the target species that we're trying to target. So when you're going to the Fall Brawl, or you're going to Monroe, or you're going to Saginaw Bay, and you really just want to go walleye fishing, and it can't happen because you get these 20, 30 mile an hour winds. A lot of people are still not totally educated on that same fishery that occurs in March and April on the Detroit River and St. Clair River. That's occurring right now on the Detroit River. I've had tons of reports of guys who listened to my reports over the last couple of weeks who've sent me emails and texts saying thank you very much, and showed me pictures of limits of nice walleye. So Dead End Tackle sent us an awesome report for the Detroit River. We're going to give it to you right now. 38 to 42 feet of water just into American water right out in front of the steel mill and north of Fighting Island. So that was the drift they were taking. They caught some beautiful fish, as you see going across your screens. The hot bait for them was darker colored Wyandotte worms or Motor City minnows. They also did good on Royal D, which is that purplish one with gold on the underbelly. Heavy jigs, the guy from Mark from Dead End said he was using heavy jigs, obviously 38 to 42 foot of water. When he gave this report just a few days ago, the water temp coming through there was 55 degrees. So with this wind and cold temperatures at night, I'm sure that's going to drop down into the low 50s, if not get to 50 degrees pretty quick. As you know, St. Clair is what feeds the Detroit River, and that's a much shallower body of water than Huron and Lake Erie. So that tends to cool that water coming through Lake St. Clair much quicker. So the Detroit River will pull a lot of those fish in really, really well. Now, the top of the river has also been really good. Longlines Charters tells me both on St. Clair River and the mouth of the Detroit River, they've been catching the fish really good. Don't forget stinger hooks. He said stinger hooks have been working. They haven't been tipping their stuff with anything, just the right color, dark color or combo colors of Wyandotte worms or Motor City minnows on heavy jigs, keeping a real straight line to the bottom, and slow methodical pumping has been what's getting the fish for them as well. And they've been fishing up in that Pesci or Peach Island area right at the mouth from the Red Can Inn. So lots of good fishing to be had on these windy days. You just got to understand river fishing is still happening, and it's actually just starting to happen. This is going to go great all the way up until it's too darn cold to fish.
The Bait Shop in Waterford is your one-stop live bait and fishing tackle destination. With an awesome selection of rods and reels, custom poured jigs, soft plastics, and panfish baits. The bait shop also has seasonal items for ice fishing, the Spring River Walleye Run, and summer salmon, bass, walleye, and pan fishing. Visit the bait shop in Waterford for all your bait and tackle needs.
Now our next stop, we're going to go ahead and continue north because, you know, even though it's been crazy windy, there is still some places to get out of the wind. If you've got a straight east or west wind, you can fish Lake Leelanau, where I was just a week ago, really well, especially as you migrate to the north or just stay on whatever shore the wind is coming off of. So we had a monster. We filmed a show in a 20 to 30 mile an hour west wind, but we were still able to really effectively fish. Now you could fish the southern part of the lake around the Cedar area where the river flows into Lake Leelanau. You can work your way up the major points, checking them with your live scope to make sure when you find pods of fish, you can catch them. One of the real tips here coming from Greg Alsip, who's the owner of Leelanau Narrows Resort and the bait shop there. Him and his mom and dad run a great operation up there, and Greg runs a guide service as well. Just go ahead and check that out, Greg Alsip from Leelanau Narrows. And he said that a lot of guys are missing a bite, and that's big perch in shallower water on Lake Leelanau with perch rigs. So most of the walleyes they're fishing for maybe 10 to 15 feet of water, like we did, casting swim baits or jerk baits up to the shore, towards the shore, or parallel or long lining with the break, casting them and letting them sink to the bottom, popping them back. But he said in 5 to 10 feet of water on the live scope, he was seeing lots of fish, went up in there with his bow mount real quietly, dropped some stuff down, saw that the fish size was they were perch. And man, he said he had some really good days where he could catch lots of really nice sized perch there on Leelanau. The same thing is true on mullet. I mean, Brian Bice told me that he's mixing in lots of big perch with his walleye catches on mullet, and mullet has been acting the same way that Leelanau has. You just picking the structures that you can fish with the wind. So for example, if you get a big, the way mullet lays, if you get a big northeast wind, you can fish the entire area around Aloha State Park pretty effectively. You can also fish the big Long Point area in the cup by the boat ramp there on that northeast corner. And so there's lots of areas to still fish. Just make sure you're consulting your Soliner tables, because even if the wind seems to be wrong, if the Soliner table tells you to be fishing that day, my experience is that if you can get out and fish good fish holding structures, you're probably still going to catch fish. Now, again, right now, mullet is kicking out smallmouth, walleye, and perch pretty regularly. And if you get good wind days, you can really have a good day there. So Leelanau, mullet, and we're going to end by creek crossing the bridge. Captain John Goebel and the guides up in Drummond Island are really banging the walleye heavily. This is the time of year where those walleye come in from, and they settle up in Muskong Bay in the Detour Narrows, all in and all around the islands there at Drummond Island. And guys are catching big walleyes right now as you see fish going across the screen. Lots of different ways. John's favorite way is trolling jumbo-sized crankbaits or casting big swim baits. One of those two presentations has been working. So Drummond Island for big walleye. Perching is probably going to wind down in the next week or two. You still got a chance to get up there and perch fish for sure. Leelanau and the Traverse City area lakes and the Sheboygan area lakes, and especially Mullet Lake, have been producing really good.
Wyandotte Lure manufactures soft plastic baits and fishing tackle right here in the Detroit area. Our famous original Wyandotte worm and the new Motor City minnow are made with our own special blend of material that is soft enough for a fish to bite, but durable enough to use all day. Our baits are available in over 30 different fish catching colors. Just another reason why Wyandotte Lure is known as the king of the river. Go to WyandottLure.com or ask for them at your local bait and tackle store.
Last hurrah here, and the reason, if you're wondering, well, gee, John, why aren't you doing a fall Brawl report this week? Let's be honest. Anybody who was stupid enough to go out on Lake Erie and fish the fall Brawl this week needs their head examined. There was gale force winds from Sunday all the way through. this coming Sunday. The only real fishable day is going to be Saturday, and obviously we can't give you a report for something that hasn't happened yet. But we are going to talk about Saturday, because Saturday is a day it looks like the winds are going to be very nice, and you should be trying to plan on what to do. So if you're planning on either perch or walleye fishing on the Great Lakes, Monroe right out of Bowles Harbor out to the Ohio line and the shipping channel, that whole general area there out of Bowles Harbor has been holding a lot of perch. Now, we don't have a report for you because of the wind, but I can tell you there's a ton of fish in that area, and the minute this wind lays down, I think those perch are going to be biting pretty good. Also, I think you're not going to be messing around with algae anymore, because the cold temperatures and wind has probably, you know, put that water into basically blender mode, and I think that algae will be gone, and the water temperatures will be really down substantially, probably 3-4 degrees down from the last time you were out, and that means the perch will be biting even better. Now, there's some really good perch fish biting, Shannon from Bay's Edge tells me, all around the islands in the Port Clinton area. You know, guys are coming to fall Brawl fish, and if they experience a bad day, let's say, and the fish really aren't there and turned on yet, to be honest with you, Shannon says a lot of guys are just going immediately to plan B. They're spot locking, they're finding schools of fish with their live scope and with their side scan, and they're just setting up on those fish and having astronomically good days on perch fishing. Not at all a problem to catch a limit. Move around, use your electronics. Cut emeralds on the bottom on perch rigs seems to be the best. And when I say cut emeralds, just cut them right in half, literally. Hook the tail on one and the head on the other, and the perch are coming in and eating the whole thing up. So lots of great fishing going on in the greater Port Clinton area. So whether it's Bowles Harbor, Monroe, or the greater Port Clinton area, perch fishing has been very good this season. So hey, like I said, DNR Sports is stocked and loaded. I walked through the whole store before I did this report. Man, every rack is full. They've got everything you guys need. So this is a great time to restock those tackle boxes, so next spring you don't have to deal with, oh shoot, they don't have what I need, because everything's sold out. And also, if you're into hunting, I'm telling you, Randy and the gang here have got just a biggest hunting display of archery and guns and clothing and all of the deer stands and things that you need for hunting. Stop on by. Listen, if you're not already watching our television show, guys, find the local channel that has it. We have a post going up right now all week on our Facebook page telling you what networks we're on statewide, what day and time our show airs. Set your DVR and record it. That way, if you're not up and around, you don't miss the show. This week we start with the Michigan Walleye Tour airing. So 5 straight weeks of our filming of this year's Michigan Walleye Tour events, starting in the Detroit River, ending with the championship in Lake St. Clair. Some awesome, fun-filled adventure tournaments for guys like you who just want to get involved. Lots of great information on how you can get involved next year as well to the highest paying tournament circuit out there with an itty-bitty entry fee. That's the Michigan Walleye Tour. So hey, thanks for joining us this week at DNR Sports Center. We'll see you next week at Beck's Trailer Sales. Well, we'll be doing an in-store there at Beck's Trailer Sales. Hey guys, John Bergsma here. Hey, I'm the MC of the Michigan Walleye Tour. I'm also privileged to be around an awesome circuit, an awesome bunch of guys. This year, we're gonna bring you 5 shows from start to the championship of some of the best walleye fishing and some of the best walleye fishermen anywhere in the state of Michigan. This is gonna be awesome fun. We're gonna spotlight presentations, we're gonna spotlight bodies of water, and most importantly, we're gonna spotlight the fishermen.